So we are on day two of our Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud training, and yesterday we had a overview around what Oracle Fusion is all about, and what are the things from an application framework. What are the different applications that are generally as part of the SaaS suite, software as a service license, and then a few details around the course offering as to what we are going to do with respect to the modules that are covered in the curriculum. Okay, the configuration aspects, the transactional aspects. So we had a brief walkthrough around all those aspects yesterday. And from today, we will be going into the application aspects altogether. Okay, and we will understand, a few things around, today on the home page, how it looks like. What are the different icons? What are the different, activities and tasks that we need to access? So those are the things that we will understand today first, and then if time permits, we will move into the security aspects of the application. Okay. All right. So this is just an agenda. So first thing is getting familiar with the Oracle Fusion UI. UI stands for user interface and navigational components. Okay. So what are the things that we will do is log into the Oracle application and go through some of the icons and some of the page related aspects that you see on the front end with respect to the application. Okay, I will now click on the instance that we have, the demo instance. Okay, we call it as instance or even as environment. Okay, wherein basically, similar to this kind of environment, any client or any business that procures the license for Oracle ERP, they will get a link similar to this, a unique link for themselves, and then they will also receive a ID and password as an admin ID and password, wherein using which they can log into the applications. Okay. So here we are going to log into this demo application now. Okay, now we are going to the home page. So this is what is called as the home page icon. Okay, home. So just like any website or any URL that you visit, there is a home screen section for every page or URL. Okay, so that is how for this also in Oracle also we have a similar functionality, and we call it as the home page. Okay. Once you click on the home page, this is the page wherein it will bring you. These are some of the aspects that you see here. These are some of the applications, okay, listed on the Springboard. Okay, so here you will see supply chain, business plan, subscription management, order management. Okay, like this, depending upon what all access this particular user ID. Okay. In my case, it is chandu.in. That is my user ID. Okay. So for my user ID, whatever application accesses grants have been provided, according to that, you will see the different applications, and these are called the work areas. So under each application, there would be separate work areas or area work areas in the sense the place where you carry out some of the activities related to that applications. Okay, transactional activities related to that application. So these are all different work areas. So when you see payables, so with respect to payables, you will see this is some of the work area. So similar to that, there will be for all the application, there will be a work area associated. Okay. Now, below you go and see there are news and announcement section. So basically, with respect to any business, they want to at their organization wide, they want to publish some news articles or anything like that related to their organization. This is something which they can use in order to do it. Okay, so if the organization wide, if they are using the same Oracle applications, okay, they can design these kind of things and articles and all those news events they can publish, and it can be seen in all the user IDs of all the users who are using the application for that particular business. Then comes a section which is called as things to finish. Okay, what does this particular section indicate? These are actually notifications, okay, related to any approval activities that they need to carry out, okay, or they have created certain activity, certain things, and they are awaiting approvals from other approver in the business. Okay, so that is where all those things, actionable items, okay, that they want to, take an action on is something that we will find under things to function. That is generally in line with the approval aspects, okay, approval notifications and all. Okay. Then you have a section called as the analytics section. Okay, now in this particular analytics section, with respect to different areas and applications of ERP, okay, what happens is this particular section will populate certain statistical analytical information. Okay, and these are all reconfigurable in the sense that some aspects can be customized as well, and some infolets and graphs, okay, and statistical data that is displayed in these analytics section for each of the application. Those things are customizable, and you can business can add in their own statistical values in the analytics section. So let's say when I talk about the general ledger info, let's okay, you can see some statistical aspect coming in, like some information, some statistics, some graphs, okay, or you can say these are info tiles, okay, or we can also call it as infolets, okay, that will give you some kind of quick information. So let's say here AP reconciliation, AR reconciliation. With respect to that, it is showing some quick statistics, okay, with respect to calendars, okay, with respect to the calendar period close process, it is showing certain information here on the infolet. Similar to that, there are other things also that can be set up as well. Like, these are spaces for revenues, for expenses. Okay, some kind of analytical information you want to present over here. Okay, so quick analytics. So these are the sections where you can do those activities, but then it requires some kind of setups. Okay, it's not like it's a straightforward approach where you can just go in and pick up some values and it will be displayed over here. It's not like that. There are specific designated areas, designated tools, okay, wherein the respective analytics have to be created and then it will be displayed in here. Okay. So this is also called as the news feed layout. This entire template that you see here, okay, theme that you see here is called as the news feed theme. Okay. One moment. Now, on the left-hand side, on the very top, on the left-hand side, you see a menu kind of option here, okay, or a menu kind of icon here. When you click on that, you will again see all the list of applications to which for which you have been given access, okay, on the left hand side. Okay, so let's say for example payroll, if you are part of a payroll department and payroll related application access is something that you require, okay, so that is where you will get the respective admin team. Okay, there is an administrator who actually manages and controls all the access related aspects. Okay, so they will grant you the access and accordingly it will be displayed under this particular list, which is called as navigator. This entire list is called as navigator. Okay. Uh, so you can see the applications at two places. Either you can see at this level on the springboard, or even you can, for easy navigation, you can even go to the navigator, and that is also again the place where you will find each of the applications for which the access has been granted to your ID and the respective work areas. Okay. So as I mentioned, right, there are workspaces involved in each of these applications. So now again, I'll show you the same thing. Payables I showed you earlier, right? So in the scroll down, when you click on payables here, you will see all those work areas which we talked about: invoice work area, payments work area, payable dashboards. Okay. So these are, if you click on now invoice, it will take you that invoice workbench. Okay. Wherein you will find all different aspects or activities that you can perform with respect to the invoices. Okay. So if I click on this task list, here, this is called as a task list. Here you will see all the invoicing related activity, like creating invoice from spreadsheet, or managing invoices or validating invoices. See, these are all invoice related activities that you can see under the invoice workbench. Okay. So again, navigator. Okay, so similar to that, if for all other applications also for which you have access, you will find a similar thing. Here, the receivable as a, let's say, accounts receivable is the application that you want to access or you have been given access to. When I click on that, you will see all these are different work areas for receivable activity. So let's say billing. If you want to do customer invoicing activity, you will go to billing. If you want to do customer payment related transaction recording activity, or any related activities, you will go to accounts receivable. Okay. Similarly, anything related to revenue that you want to work on. So that is where revenue as a workspace is provided to you. And inside that, the revenue recognition related tasks and activities will be available. Okay. So this is how the architecture falls in the Oracle application. Okay. So depending upon the access that has been granted to you, you will get under the navigator or on the springboard, you will get the respective applications, and within that application you will find different work areas according to the different kind of activities that need to be carried out by the respective departments. Okay. So payable is a department for a business, right? Receivable is a department for a business which carries out all the receivable related transactions for the business, or payable related transactions for the business. So even accordingly, the applications have been designed and the respective work areas will be displayed. Okay. So hope the navigator aspect is clear. Now I want to move back to the home page. So I'll click on home page here. Okay. Now there is a star icon here, right? Right. A star means what? Marking favorites. So whenever you go to a particular page, okay, and you want to mark that page as favorite, such that every time you don't have to go through this process. Okay. So, from navigator going to the respective application and then going to the respective work area, and from there accessing the task, like the case of invoice creation. So if I want to create an invoice in a normal way, how do I need to do it? I need to go to navigator. I need to go to payables, right? And then from payables, I have to go to invoice. And then from invoice, I have to go to the create invoice task, right? Instead of doing all this activity, I can even mark one of the pages or this particular page as favorites page. Okay, so let's say this invoice workbench is, I want to mark it as a favorite. So I'll come to this page and then I'll click on this star icon. And what I can do is I can add this to favorites, add to favorite. Okay, then you can give a name. Okay, if you want, or the same name that the Oracle name is there, that you can keep it as it is, and then you can save and close. When you save and close, it will come under your favorites list. So you can see here, pay invoice workbench. This is the favorites list. Okay, it will come under the favorites list. Okay, so like this, you can mark all the different pages that you very or quite often frequently visit. Okay, you can mark them as favorite, and then simply you can easily, quickly navigate from here, favorites tab, and then you can select the respective page. So here we have invoice workbench. I'll click on it, and directly it will take me to that particular page. Okay, so this is how the favorites icon will, play a role in helping you to get quick access of different pages. Then recent items. Recent items is again a recent items tab where all the recent pages that you have visited. Okay, just like in our Google browser also, or in Microsoft Edge browser also, all the pages that you visit, you will find a history, right? The same way, recent items is nothing but a list of history of all the previous activities that you have done. Okay, so it will be displayed over here. The different pages that you have accessed earlier will be displayed over here. Okay, then we have something called as the flag icon. Now, this flag icon is nothing but a wish list or a watch list. Not a wish list, rather a watch list. Okay, so with respect to the different applications, there are different watch lists that are created by Oracle. Okay, that give you help you to keep a track on the key activities that are to be performed. Okay, so let's say, for example, here you will see something again related to payables. Let's see. Yeah, below there was. Right now, since I have access to all the application, therefore everything is displayed all together. Okay, otherwise you will be able to see in the scroll down. When you scroll down, you will be able to see all the required tasks. So let's say for now time being, I will say payments. Okay, so I want to track the stop request that has been put for payments. Okay, all the payments which are on stop request mode. Okay, stop payment mode. Okay, so I want to review it quickly. So this is where I have a watch list for payments stop request. Okay, and I can click on it and it will give me all those payments which are put on stop. Okay. Similarly, all the other watch list are also displayed here, like the case of orders. Orders means the sales orders. Okay. So these are some of the watch list available. So with respect to orders opened in last 7 days, all the sales orders that were opened in the last 7 days, you want to quickly review it. So this is where you can go. Pending acknowledgement. Okay. So any kind of acknowledgement is pending. Okay. Acknowledgement means acknowledging the sales order, okay, is pending, then that is what you can track from here. Okay, so these are kind of watch lists that help you take action on certain activities which for which certain the business users have to keep looking at and take necessary quick actions on it. Okay, so that is where these kind of watch lists are available. Okay, again, these will not be like, you will get all the watch list, all together for every login, but these are all dependent upon the kind of application accesses that have been provided. Okay, so if I'm a user for the business and I'm not provided, I'm not part of sales team and I'm not supposed to have access to orders, then this will not come up. Okay, this will not be available. Only the things that are applicable to me based on the based on the application access and function access that has been provided, even these watch list will come up. Okay. Then you have this bell icon. Okay, bell icon is actually for notification. So any kind of notification that comes to you, okay, this particular bell icon will display all those notifications. So in any business, approvals is kind of one of the aspect wherein notifications are received. Or let's say your user ID password has been reset, or let's say any reference information notifications will come up. So this is the place where all kinds of notification will be displayed. Okay, so like you can see here, action required. So if you this particular ID, my ID, is an approver in the approval chain of hierarchy. Okay, for let's say anything, for let's say invoice approval or payment approval. Okay, so in that case, if I'm the approver, then this kind of approval action will come to me for approval or rejection. Accordingly, you have to review and take an action. Similarly, there are certain information related FYI. FYI means for your information related notifications also that come up. Okay, so let's say you are a invoice preparer in the payable in the payable team. Okay, and once you have prepared the invoice, you will send it for approval. And let's say that person, the approver, your manager, they reject it. How would you come to know? So that will be based on what? Based on the FYI notification that will come to you saying that your what do you say, your invoice approval request was rejected by manager. So like that, notifications will come under this particular section. Okay, for some things you can take an action, for some things you can just, for your information messages, which you can just review and take the necessary action later. Okay, so that is what is the bell icon, use of bell icon. Okay, now I will go to this profile kind of icon. Okay, now profile kind of icon has many things. Okay, but we are not going through each of it. Key aspects which you need to know or be aware about. That is what I'm going to cover. Okay, like this case of set preferences. Okay, so set preferences is a section where you can just find some of the generic aspects related to regional information settings. Okay, like which region are you working in? So accordingly, you can set in the territory, the date format, how the dates need to be displayed. Okay, how the time format needs to be displayed. You just like our laptop also, right? In our laptop also, we have this kind of things we can set up, right? Our time zone, our calendar. Okay, so the same way in Oracle also you can set these aspects. What should be the number format? How the numbers should be displayed? How what should be the currency? The what do you say, the default currency. Okay, what is the time zone? Okay, so all these things can be set up from the preferences. Okay, within what, within this particular profile action, which is called as setting an action. Then language preferences, if you have, you can set the language. Okay, similarly, password related, you want to request for a password reset, or you want to reset your own password. This is where you can do it. Okay, then you have something called as watch list. So watch list is where you can add the different watch lists that you want, or remove different watch lists you want. Okay, you can manage it from here. Okay, so these are some of the basic general preferences that you can manage around the application. Okay, now going back to again the same settings and actions icon. First I'll go to home page, and then I'll go to settings and action. Okay, now in the settings and action, one of the important aspect that you need to be aware of is setup and maintenance. Okay, now this is where now the next topics, okay, that we are going to start will be all about setup and maintenance. Why? Because we are the ones who are going to do the setup for the applications, right? I talked about it, right? What is it that we are covering in the course? Some setup related activities, as well as some transactional activities. So for each application, first we will do some kind of setups, and that is where you need this particular access, setup and maintenance access. How do you get the setup and maintenance access? That I will talk about in our security admin session. Okay, so security administration session. It is part of the security administration session. Now I am able to see the setup and maintenance. Why? Because I have access to this particular task. Okay, our access has been granted to me as an admin. That's why I have the access to this setup and maintenance task. Okay, so I will just quickly touch base on setup and maintenance, how it looks like, how you need to navigate around the different tasks. Okay, so that I will just touch base for your understanding. And this is where time and again we will be going with respect to each of our training aspects. Okay, or each of our training topics that we would be covering on the configuration side. This is where we will be going in. So that is where you need to be familiar with this particular navigation. And that's the reason I'm showing it to you at this particular point. Setup and maintenance. Click on it. I'll zoom in. Okay, now this is where this is a page which looks up where you can do all kinds of setup. Okay, for the different applications and different modules which fall under the different product suite. Okay, so when I say product suite, what does it mean? Whether it is financial applications, whether it is human capital related applications, or whether it is supply chain related applications. So there are product families. Okay, these are called product families. Okay, so under product families, there would be different types of products as well. So when we take financial as a product family, under financial product family, there is general ledger, general accounting module. Okay, similarly, accounts payable, accounts receivable, okay, cash management, intercompany, tax. Okay, all these fall under what? The financials as a product family. Okay, and all the setup related to the financials product family will be available under this particular setup, which is called as financials. Now, if you are a part of supply chain, supply chain team or supply chain consulting team, then the product family that you will be selected is related to the supply chain. Like you can see here below, procurement, okay, or product management, okay, or order management. So depending upon the area of work, the different product families and products will be displayed over here. And according to the area of work there where you are supposed to work, you need to select the respective setups, the product family here. Okay, right now what we are going to train is we are going to train purely on the financials application front. And therefore, every time you come to this particular page, which is the setup and maintenance page, you have to ensure that you select financials here as the product family. Okay, and it is related to the financials that you will be doing all the setups. Okay, now right now it is financials that is selected here, and below you will see all the financial related functional areas. Okay, we call it as the functional areas, the areas applicable to the financial aspects. Okay, so you can see here all the applications that are listed: general ledger, okay, financial reporting structures, okay, then you have payables, payments, cash management, transaction tax, expenses, fixed assets, receivables, customer billing, revenue recognition, customer payments, customers. So these are all different functional areas that fall within financials, okay, wherein you will find certain tasks called the setup task. Okay, so let's say, for example, for you to relate better, let's say I want to do any configuration activities related to general ledger. So once I come to this particular page, okay, and financials is selected, you will find general ledger functional area. And when you click on it, on the right hand side, do you see something that has changed? The screen has changed on the right hand side. And all these things that you see here, these are called as the setup task related to general ledger application. Okay, these are called as the setup task related to the general ledger applications. Okay, similarly, let's say if I want to do setup related to payable module, okay, then I'll click on payable as a functional area. Okay, and you will find on the right hand side all the tasks that are related to the payable module. Okay, this is only showing mandatory tasks. As you can see here, it is saying required task. The filter is for required task. Okay, required task means the most mandatory tasks. There are many other tasks as well, okay, which may not be mandatory, but if the business wants to use a certain feature, then they will have to enable it or configure it. Okay, so that is why when you select all tasks, you will see all the different kinds of tasks that fall within the payable as a module. Okay, so this is how you can access the setup and maintenance, and under each of the product family, the respective applications, modules, and different setup activities that you can access like this. Okay, then there is a search icon as well here. Okay, or a search space that has been provided as well. Now, what is the search space for? So let's say, for example, in pay, you know that there is a certain setup that you want to do, but you exactly don't know under which functional area that would fall in. Okay, you don't know, let's say, defining an accounting calendar, you don't know under which active or which functional area it falls in. Okay, so in that case, how will you search it? So that is where this search option has been provided. Okay, so let's say, for example, you want to define an accounting calendar and you don't know under which application it would fall in, or under which functional area it would fall in. Okay, so you have an option to search it from here. Percentage is the wildcard character, okay, which you can use for entering or doing keyword search. Like in Google, you can do a keyword search, right? Just by entering, let's say, some sections of a name of the page. Okay, you can search it, right? The same kind of functionality works here as well. But only thing is, it is by percentage that it would Oracle identifies the keywords or the key criteria, search criteria. Okay, so let's say accounting calendar. I'm not putting entire name. I'm just entering the keyword CALE. Okay, and I want to search. Okay, so you can see here, manage accounting calendar. It has come up, the task. So this is how I can, using the keywords, I can search for any particular task. Okay, and accordingly, it will even show you the respective functional area as well. So like right, see here, manage accounting calendar. It is actually part of what? Financial reporting structures. Okay, so this is how you can play around, or basically you can navigate around this particular page and search for different activities, setup activities that needs to be performed, or you can go through the functional area and then look for the respective task as well. Okay, so this is just for your basic understanding, to make you familiar with the setup and maintenance page, because you don't need to worry if you're not understanding at this stage, because this is a particular screen where we will be visiting quite often, because we would be doing the setup related to different applications. Okay, and that's the reason quite frequently we are going to visit this page, and then by then you will be thorough with this particular screen. Okay, you will get quite familiar with the screen then. Okay. So this is a brief on the navigational aspects, on the key navigational areas, how we need to navigate with respect to the application. Okay. Now I'm going back to the home page. Okay. Now I will start with the very key concept. Okay. With respect to the Oracle applications. Okay. What is that key concept? That is security. Not only for Oracle, but for almost all softwares, all applications that you can think of, always security is the first point, okay, that is considered. Okay, so and that is the reason why for every application that or software that you access, or any pages that you access, okay, there is an account associated to it, and there is a credential and user ID password that is associated to it. Okay, and that is how you securely log into that particular page, or you securely log into that particular software. Okay, so the same thing applies for Oracle ERP also. Okay, and that's the reason the first and foremost thing, okay, that you saw was user ID and password is something that you had to enter in order to log into this application. Now, that is also the first point of any security administration consideration. Okay, now we will talk about security admin, how the security administration is configured. Okay, what are the key aspects that you need to take into consideration and how it is configured within the Oracle applications. That is what we are going to look at. Okay. So when we talk about security configuration, and specifically, let's say about Oracle security, these are the three questions generally that needs to be answered. Okay, so behind every application, there is an administrator sitting, okay, who will ask these questions to himself, okay, or maybe whomsoever is requesting the access. These are the questions that would be considered, right? Who needs to be given access? Okay, for every application, this is the first question, or software, this is the first question that needs to be answered. Who needs to be given the access for any common application or common web pages that you visit? Okay, there is this first question, that who question, how is it answered? The people who register for that particular service or application, right? Now, in case of Oracle application, Oracle is the ERP that is used by a particular business who has purchased the licenses for it. So ideally, Oracle ERP needs to be utilized by the employees of that particular organization, right? Generally, that is the case, right? The employees of the organization are the people who need to be provided the access of the particular environment. And that is where the who question gets answered. Okay, so admin will give security, admin will give access of the Oracle application to the employees of that organization. And how are they created? They are created as users of the application, right? They are created as a users of the application. A user account is created for them, and an ID and a password is provided to the employees of the organization who are supposed to access the ERP. Okay. Let's say, as just as an example, I am part of any business. Okay. And I'm part of the accounting department. Okay, so I have to carry out my day-to-day activities, or I have to perform my day-to-day activities in Oracle ERP, that for which the business has procured the license. And how do I access it? I will need a user ID and password. So when I join the organization, what will happen is, based with the details, okay, with my details, my email ID, or my last name, first name, all those things will be provided to the IT security team, okay, who will create a user ID and password for me. Okay. The same thing is you will learn now how to create a user ID and password within the Oracle application. Okay. So let's say you are the admin, okay? You are the administrator who has the complete rights, okay? And the administrator access anyone would receive based on the role, based on the IT security console. Okay, so I am the administrator now. I have the admin access, and therefore I will be able to create a user ID for all the other people in the organization who are supposed to work on the different applications. And how do I create it? So I'll go to Navigator, okay, and I will scroll down to a section called Tools, okay, and under Tools, I will have something called as the Security Console, okay, and once I click on Security Console, this is the page, the administrator page that comes up. I, as an IT administrator, for Oracle applications, okay, I will have the access to that security console that we saw first. Okay, and once I click on the security console, I will get this page where I can manage many IT administrator related activities. Okay, now we are talking about what? Creation of a user ID. How we can create a user ID for any user. Okay, for any new employee, let's say, who has been hired into the organization and who has to carry out different activities on the ERP on a day-to-day basis. So first of all, the who question needs to be answered, and then for that respective person or employee of the organization, the user ID needs to be created. So here you have something called as users. Okay. And when you click on users, this user account page will open up, and you have the option called add user account. Okay. So you click on add user account. Okay. And these are the information that you need to input. Okay. So user information. What is the first name of the user? Let's say, 1 second. Harris. Okay. And last name is Clinton. Let's say, and then you will put the email ID, whatever is the email ID that has been created for that particular employee in the organization, @abc.com, let's say. Okay, and username will come up. Now, username, there are certain policies around username, whether it can be the first name and last name with a dot, or even many a times the policy can be set as the email ID itself should become the username. So now, depending upon the policy that would be set, according to that, the username will be derived. Okay, or even you can update it as required. Then, what is the default password? So here you need to set the default password. Okay. Okay, so I have set the default password, and then I can save and close. Okay, what are these roles about? I'll talk about the roles in the further discussion about the security administration part. But this we are talking about purely around the user creation. Okay, how a user needs to be created or can be created within the application for, let's say, any new employee that have joined, okay, the organization. Okay, and then you save and close. When you do that, what will happen? The email IDs will be, the emails will be shot up, okay, to that user's email ID, and they will receive a notification saying your user account has been created for Oracle with the respective link that they need to access to, and they will say that you need to reset the password. Okay, that's all. Something when you create a new user, that's how it will happen. Okay, but this is how you need to create it within the Oracle application as an IT security administrator. You will be creating the user account in this manner. Okay, and here you can search for the user accounts, all the user accounts that has been created. Okay, let's say for example, you want to manage the user accounts. Okay, manage in the sense what? Later on, you want to, let's say the employee has been terminated, or has left the organization, then in that case, you will have to deactivate the accounts as well, right? So all kinds of user management, user account management activities you would do from this particular page, okay, as an IT administrator. So now let's say I want to deactivate this particular employee account. Okay, so that is where I will search it with the respective username, search. Okay, then I will simply click on it. Okay, and then I can edit it, and then I can say logged. Okay, so when I say logged or and I unclick, uncheck this active, what will this happen? This particular account will get logged and the account will also get deactivated. Okay, so this is how the edit can be done. Let's say you want to reset the password for this particular account. Okay, let's say the particular employee has forgotten to forgotten the password, and they want you to reset the password, you as an admin to reset the password. So that is also possible. Same way you will search for that particular user ID. Okay, and then you can click on the drop down here. Okay, and you have multiple options: reset the password, unlock password, delete the user. Okay, you want to copy this user and create, that also is possible. Another user. Okay, copy user and create another user. That is also possible. So these are some of the activities that you as an administrator can do around the user account. Okay, which is the first point of the security administration part. Okay, any questions around this? Anyone wants to ask any question?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Now, this was about the user account management. Okay, now there is a second question. Whenever we talk about security administration, there is a second question that needs to be answered. So first question is, who needs to be given the access? Okay, so generally it is the employees of the organization that needs to be given the access. The second question is, what kind of access is required? Okay. So just by creating a user ID and password for the employee, they will not be able to do any activity. It's just that they will be able to log into the page. They will not be able to do any activity. Okay. So just to quickly show you for this particular user. Okay. Let me unlock the account. Okay. And I will activate it also. Okay. So this is active. Now I will log out from my ID. And I will log to Harris's ID. Okay. Maybe I'll have to reset the password. So team, while we are proceeding with the activities, I would just request you to confirm your enrollments today. The reason is, from tomorrow onwards, a new link will be provided and new link will be provided to those who have confirmed the enrollments. Okay. And only they would be accessed, they will be able to access or, be part of the other sessions from tomorrow onwards. 1 second. I'll reset the password. Reset password. Done. log out, and I will try to access the other account. Okay, so now I'm logging into that particular application, and you can see on the navigator, okay, you will not find any specific application here. You're not able to see payables, you are not able to see general ledger, you are not able to see payroll or receivables. Okay, these are just some of the other things which are not related to any particular function. Okay, just the generic ones is something that has been assigned. Okay, but you're not able to see any specific application access. Okay, so that is where the second question needs to be answered. So whenever a user account is created, okay, what application access, okay, or what functional access is to be provided to that particular user. That is what the second question would be for any IT administrator. Okay, from a security perspective. Okay, what kind of access, what kind of function access need to be provided to those respective users so that they can carry out their different activities or in the business. Okay, they so that they may perform their duties in the business. So that is where the second question comes up, and that is where we have something called as role-based security model. Okay, for the different kinds of accesses, okay, application accesses and function accesses. Function means the different tasks that need to be performed, just like we had seen in case of payable, right? So payable as an application you would navigate to, and then under that you have certain workbenches called invoice, payment, or payable dashboard. And when you go to the invoice, you will find multiple activities, or we also call it as functions, okay, like create invoice or manage invoice, okay, or validate the invoice, run the accounting for invoice. Okay, so those kind of functions, those are called as functions as well. Okay, so for getting access of all these aspects, there is something called as a role-based security model within Oracle ERP. Okay, so it is certain roles that will be assigned to the user, okay, depending upon the kind of work that they need to carry out, depending upon the department to which they belong. Okay, there are certain roles which Oracle has predefined, okay, based on the standard global universal process of different businesses under financial function. They have defined certain standard roles. Oracle themselves have defined certain standard roles, okay, and these roles will give the respective user an access to an application and the underlying functions. Okay, so that is what is called as the role-based security model. Okay, for the second question that the administrator need to ask, the what question that the administrator need to ask, what kind of access should we provide to the respective user so that they are able to carry out their duties within the organization, and that is called as role-based security model. So in the role-based security model, what happens is users are assigned roles. Okay, what are they assigned? They are assigned certain role that they need to perform within the organization, through which they gain access to functions and data within the application. Okay, by assigning certain roles to the users, to the employees, okay, in their Oracle the user IDs, what happens is they gain access to certain functions that belong to the different applications, okay, and also certain data within the application. Okay, I'm not going into these other aspects, but yeah, very in a very layman terms, I'm trying to explain what a role is all about. Okay, now you'll see some example here in this particular presentation sheet. Okay, let's say Christopher as a user. Okay, Christopher is an employee that got hired in the business. Okay, and he is created as a user by the admin. Now the second question that the administrator needs to ask is, what are the roles that need to be granted to Christopher so that he is able to carry out different activities within the organization on the Oracle ERP. Okay, so this is where you can see an example of certain roles. First of all, Christopher is what? Christopher is an employee of the organization, right? Therefore, he may have to carry out certain employee related tasks. Like, let's say, he might have to access his pay slips, okay, or he may have to raise a leave request, okay, or he may want to, add his bank account, or, the HR may want to add a bank account related to Christopher for in order to, disperse the salaries. Okay, so entire profile of Christopher as an employee needs to be maintained. That means certain employee related activities are to be carried out, and therefore employee as a role needs to be assigned to the user of Christopher within Oracle so that he is able to carry out all the employee related activities. Okay, now these are also called as abstract roles. Okay, now then there is another set of roles that need to be assigned to Christopher, being part of certain function within the business. Okay, so let's say Christopher is part of what? The general accounting department. Okay, that falls under the financial departments for the business. And he has to carry out, general accounting related tasks like, posting of journal or, generating certain financial statements. Okay, or similarly managing the accounting periods. Okay, or, posting the journals. Okay, or reversing the journals, or, reviewing the balances. Okay, so all these are activities that pertain to the general accounting department. And if he has to carry out those activities, okay, then he has to be assigned these kind of roles which pertain to the general accounting department. Okay, so general accounting department means they need to have access, first of all, to the general ledger application, right? And also the functions that fall within the general accounting department. So that is where Oracle has defined such kind of rules. Okay, considering the universal architecture of general business organization structure and all, Oracle has predefined these rules. Okay, and this is what needs to be assigned additionally to the Christopher's user ID so that he is able to perform those related tasks. Okay. Similar way, let's say Christopher is also part of the accounts payable team. He has to also manage the accounts payable related activity. Accounts payable means the supplier invoicing activities, supplier payment activities, all those things he has to perform. Then in that case, he even needs to be provided the access to the accounts payable roles also. There are certain accounts payable roles also which are predefined by Oracle, which in turn would give the respective user the respective functionality accesses. Okay. So here I have listed down in this particular screen, I have listed down some of the seeded roles which Oracle has predefined. Okay. So application implementation consultant role. This is something that would be required by us as functional consultants. Okay. This role is something that would be required by us as functional consultants so that we are able to do the setup activities. So I showed you right earlier the setup and maintenance navigation. So how do you get that access? By actually getting assigned this particular role. If your user ID as a functional consultant, when your user ID is created, if you're assigned this application implementation consultant role, only then you will get the access to setup and maintenance. Okay. On the other hand, these are the other transactional roles we call it. Okay, so if you get access to these transactional roles, only then you will be able to perform the related activity. So in a real-time business world, application implementation consultant role is assigned to the functional consultants and IT administrators who are supposed to do the setup related activities. Okay, and they will also be assigned for these roles as well so that they are able to do the testing activities. But any real-time business user in the sense, the departmental users, they will not be provided this role. Okay, they will not be provided access to this role. Why? Because they are not supposed to do or tamper with the setups. Okay, they will only be provided with these roles, which are the functional roles depending upon the functional departments in the business. Okay, so this is how the second layer of security is controlled. Okay, by assigning the required roles to the users depending upon the kind of activity or work that they need to carry out. Okay, so these are some of the financial related roles. An application administrator, why I have put up, why? Because we need to do the setup activities. That's why I have put up these application implementation consultant role also in this list, so that you become familiar with the roles. Okay, now you will see how we can assign these roles to the user. And once you assign this role to the user, how they will be able to see the different things within their application. Okay, so right now, as I mentioned, when you go to Harris's ID, okay, you will not be able to see the payable related application or the general accounting related application or anything like that, right? So in the navigator, when you go, you are not able to see any of those applications. Why? Because the role access has not been granted. Similarly, if you go to this profile icon for Harris, do you see setup and maintenance here? No. Why? Because the application implementation consultant role has not been provided. Harris is not supposed to have the access to setups. Okay, he's a business user, employee of the business, or let's say he's part of the accounts payable team. Okay, and therefore he's not supposed to have the setup and maintenance, and therefore that access has not been granted. Now let's say Harris is part of the accounts payable team and he needs to carry out the accounts payable related activities, and therefore he now needs to be given access to that role. We call it as the job role. So how can we do that? So I will log in back to my administrator ID. Okay, as an administrator, I will log in now. Okay, now I am the administrator. Okay, and I will now go to home page. I will go to navigator. I will scroll down to tools, and I will then scroll down, click on security console. Why I'm going to security console? Why? Because I want to add a role to the Harris's ID, right? So I'll now go to users. I will search for the account, user account of Harris. Search, and then now I will add the roles. I'll click on Harris Clinton. I'll say edit. Okay, and below you see the roles section. This is where I need to add the required rules. So I'll click on add role. Okay, and I will say, first of all, he's an employee and he needs to carry out the employee related tasks. That's why I will search for the employee role. So here it is, employee, select it, and then click on add role membership. Similarly, he is supposed to carry out the accounts payable activities. So I will search with the name as accounts payable. Okay, so with respect to accounts payable, you will see a lot many roles. Let's say he's to be the invoice supervisor. So I'll select invoice supervisor role and add it. He's also supposed to be the accounts payable department manager. Okay, so the respective role has been predefined by Oracle. These are all list of roles which are predefined by Oracle. Okay, so here it is, accounts payable manager, and then add role membership. Okay, click on done. So now these are the three roles that are assigned to the user so that he or she is able to carry out their activities within the organizations. Okay, so employee role has been provided as well as the departmental function role has also been provided. And then save and close. Okay, click on done. Now, as an administrator, once the role has been assigned, there is some activity that you need to do, which is called as running the refresh program. Okay, so what it does is it in the application, it refreshes the security access because this is a new assignment that we did, right? New role assignment. So refresh has to happen in the security, metrics. Okay, so that is where you will have to go to the profile icon and go to setup and maintenance. And the first thing that you see under the financials, functional area, initial users, the first task that you see, run user and role synchronization process. You have to click on that and simply submit it. This is a program actually which does the refresh activity. Okay, it refreshes any new changes that you have done to the security matrix. It will refresh it. Okay, so once it is refreshed, the access will be displayed for the user. Okay, right now this particular program is already scheduled, auto scheduled. That's why it is not allowing me to submit manually. Okay, so what I'll do is, considering, let's say, assuming it has run, I will sign out of my admin ID and I will try to log in as the user, Harris. Okay, now I will see whether I'm able to see the payable application or not and the respective functions or not. So I will go to navigator. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. See, I'm able to find payables now and the respective, workbenches, workspaces here. This has happened. Why? Because I assigned the respective payable related roles to the Harris's user ID. Even me, this as a section is coming up. Me is a section that comes up when employee as a role is assigned. So that he can do all the activities related to his employee related domain. Like, he want to see the payment related activities, time and absence. He want to fill in his time sheets, or he want to, put up leaves. He wants to see his benefits, like insurance benefits, or any other benefits that the organization provides to its employees. Personal information profile he wants to see. Okay, he wants to raise an expense claim. Okay, so these are all coming up with the employee as a rule. When the employee as a rule was assigned to the user, that is how it is coming up. When I assigned the payable rule, the payable application access was provided and the respective workspace access was given to the user. So this is how the second layer of administration, security administration is managed. Okay, which is called as the role assignment. Okay, I have shown on the screen all the standard rules which are applicable as part of which Oracle provides for the financial modules. You may want to, learn this particular names. Okay. So this is how the respective access can be provided. Okay. I will deep dive into the roles, how basically just by assigning a role, the different functions are provided. All those things we will cover in tomorrow's session. For today, I will keep it limited to this. Okay. I hope you have all, given your respective contact information. Okay. If not, then try to get in touch with the admin team. The number was shared yesterday. Okay. So try to get in touch with the admin team, confirm your enrollments, and only then you will be allowed to attend tomorrow's session. Okay. That's all, everyone. Thank you and have a good day. Do you have any questions that you want to ask before we wrap up for today?
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we are giving access to clients, I mean business users.
Mhm.
So we are creating two IDs, sir.
Yeah, so first ID will be created for you as an admin. Okay, let's say if you are supposed to be the IT admin for Oracle applications in the business, then an IT administrator role will be provided to you. Thereby, you will get access to create users, okay, manage users or add roles, all those things you will get it. Okay, so whenever a new employee, let's say, is hired in the organization, okay, the respective HR team, they will, come to you because you are the IT administrator, let's say, they'll come to you and they'll say, okay, this is the details of the new employee. Okay, create a user account for them and also assign these roles. Okay, these so and so roles, let's say accounts payable role. Okay, they will ask you to assign it because he's part of the accounts payable department. Okay, so that's how the activities are to be performed.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is the real life example how it generally happens in a real time environment. That's what I have tried to explain so that you are able to relate to the security concept.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions?
So in when we create business user ID, so we are giving only access like a content management, something like that only.
So yeah, so as I mentioned, there is a seeded list of roles which Oracle has defined. Okay, so considering the application access that needs to be provided, considering in which department the employee is working, according to that, the respective role is something that you need to assign. So all the roles that are defined for financials, I had shown you in the PPT. Similarly, there are other roles also which Oracle has defined for procurement, for order management, for project management. Okay, so there are multiple roles that Oracle has defined considering the different areas of work. Okay, and that is something that needs to be assigned to the respective person according to what has to be assigned. Okay, according to the kind of function or activity that the user needs to perform within the organization.
Hello,
Yeah,
Shivram here. I have a question. Can
yeah,
you create some additional role apart from the pre-existing roles?
yes, we can.
Okay.
So Oracle has created it based on the larger, universal, taking into consideration the universal needs. Now, every business will have different needs. So let's say, for example, an invoice, the role that Oracle provides may have all the activities. Okay. But in the real life, in the business, when you go and implement it, okay, that particular business may not want certain activities to be provided that are part of the standard roles. So that is where role customization comes up. Okay. So yeah, other roles, custom roles can also be created. So that part is something that I will be covering tomorrow. How a custom role can be created, the generic concept of it.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question?
I this how to see what are the pages access will be provided by that particular role? Is there is an option to see that one?
No, there is a simulator that we can talk about tomorrow. So with respect to each role, there is a simulator that can tell you what are the different functions that will be assigned. So it's all part of that role, the job role itself that has been provided, right? So it is designed, it has multiple sub layers under it. So that is what basically the function, it talks about the functions. Okay, so that is something that we'll be covering tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, if that's all, then that's it for today, everyone. Please and confirm your enrollments by today itself, or else you may not be able to attend tomorrow's session. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Have a good day.